In this lesson we'll talk about IQ system circuit wiring. Single-phase IQ system wiring. In the following simplified wiring example, we'll observe the wiring of the active connections within a one-phase installation. An Envoy S-metered gateway is then rail mounted with its own power supply with circuit protection. An Envoy S-metered has a consumption CT that is installed around the main supply at the line side of the main switchboard. This enables the CT to measure the total current of the consumption loads. The arrow on the consumption CT faces towards the loads, following the direction of load current. A CT is hardwired into the terminal wiring block at the Envoy. Each CT has a blue and white conductor. The CT wires must land in the correct phase connection in the terminal block. Each solar circuit within an installation is protected with a 20 amp circuit breaker. If required, a 30 mA bidirectional Type A residual current device can also be installed in place of circuit breakers. The 20 amp Q relay is installed in line in the solar circuit. It will isolate the microinverter circuit if the AC grid is out of range. From the Q relay, the installation will include AC wiring to the AC isolator. This wiring will be typical electrical wiring such as TPS or orange circ and will be selected with cross-sectional area to minimize voltage rise. Q wiring is installed from the AC isolator or junction box throughout the solar arrays. Microinverters plug into the Q wiring connectors and solar modules are installed and plugged into each microinverter. A minimum 4 mm squared earth conductor can be wired directly from the AC isolator to the solar array framing. The solar production CT is connected around the solar circuit active conductor and wired into the corresponding CT phase terminal block at the Envoy. Note the direction arrow on this CT, it is following the direction of solar generation, in other words pointing away from the microinverters. AC power line communication signal is used for microinverter data and control. It is broadcast across the AC conductors. The Envoy sends and receives power line signal. It communicates to the Q relay, across the microinverter circuit, and into each microinverter within the installation. Installation of subboards to house in-phase microinverter switchboard components is always recommended. A solar subboard creates installation space for the system components. It assists with AC power line communications by grouping the circuits together, and strengthens the power line signal to microinverters by enabling segregation from external load circuits. The solar subboard can aid your installation by being positioned closer to microinverters. InPhase recommends to keep your solar circuit wiring length to less than 50 meters between the Envoy and the microinverter system. Let's have a look at two-phase IQ system wiring. For two-phase installations, the Envoy S-metered requires a two-phase connection to the power supply. Consumption CTs are installed on each of the phases. A 25 amp multi-phase Q relay is used with two-phase connection within the microinverter circuit. As a 25 amp Q relay is used, the microinverter circuit can be rated to 25 amps. This enables an increased number of microinverters per phase. The multi-phase Q relay also couples the power line communications across the phases. For simple wiring, one-phase Q cabling is utilized for each phase within the 25 amp solar microinverter circuit. Three-phase IQ system wiring. In a three-phase installation, the Envoy S-metered and in-phase components are wired for three phases. The Envoy S-metered requires a three-phase supply. Per phase consumption CTs are installed for measuring consumption loads. In this location, these also measure the excess solar being exported to the grid. Three-phase Q cabling ensures a balanced installation of microinverters across each of the phases. Per phase solar production CTs are required to be installed. The 25 amp multi-phase Q relay is installed in series within the circuit. Bidirectional AC power line communications in the three-phase installation is sent over line 1 or the red phase of an Envoy power supply. This power line signal then travels across the circuits. The multi-phase Q relay also acts as a phase coupler, enabling the power line signal to migrate to all of the phases. The microinverter can be controlled by the power line signal. Each microinverter shares operation data back to the Envoy over the power line. Multi-phase installations also benefit from installations of solar subboards. Here is an example of three-phase components such as Envoy, Q relay and CTs, and the associated circuit breakers installed directly into a solar subboard.